So there's a new division of Red Truck Men, Red Truck Relief and Rescue. How did that get started?
Well, as you know, and these guys know, that Marilyn and I, a couple years ago, bought the Villa Grave House in Black Mountain, North Carolina. And because we have a house here, when the storm came through, we were concerned that maybe the house was damaged. So I came up just to make sure it was okay, and it was, thank God. But then we saw the damage in different areas around us, like Swananoa, which we're going to go see in a few minutes, that were just totally decimated. I mean, I'm talking about whole towns that were gone. And so we just sent, I think, Grant, it was an email or text or to a few guys and said, hey, who wants to come up to Black Mountain and help these people? And we, by the way, we didn't, as you guys know, we didn't know what to expect. We thought maybe 5 guys would show up, 10. I told my wife, I'm willing to take a week off. We were about to have a vacation. I said, let's just pivot, and this will be our vacation. We can stay at the house. We can volunteer. Well, we ended up having about 700 men that said, hey, we'll come up. We'll help. So we were able to get a location downtown, a church that let us use their parking lot. And we started Red Truck Men Rescue and Relief. It's totally a God thing. We were not organized. We didn't know what we were doing. But what we didn't realize, within the body of Red Truck Men, the roughly 3,000 men, we got farmers, we got plumbers, we got backhoe guys, we got just an endless amount of talent. Tree guys, especially chainsaws, backhoes, and they started rolling in. And we started rolling in 40 to 50 men at a time. Hayne was a big part of helping us quarterback all this. But we started rolling into different areas. Now here we are. We initially thought we'd be here for about a week. We've now been here 4 weeks. But it's a totally God thing. In fact, there's been so many God stories within this. For example, we were at the church. The church, after about 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, said, we need our parking lot back. We started looking around. Well, God opened the door, and I'm a firm believer that when a door is shut, God he opens another door, and then the next door he opens is bigger. We were able to buy a warehouse, for lack of a better word, downtown with a huge parking lot that we were able to set up the Red Truck Men Rescue, but also we were able to set up a store so people can come get goods. So we set up a mock store. And then it's got a kitchen in this building that we've been able, along with some locals, a lot of locals, by the way, able to cook meals for a lot of the hard-hit areas. I heard last night that Richard and I think that team has now served over 20,000 meals.
25,000.
25,000 meals.
Yeah.
And we're still going strong. And now we're talking about not just a Red Truck Men Rescue and Rebuild, but we are going to, we're rescue, restore, and rebuild. But we've been talking to a couple of local people recently, today even, about building homes potentially. Because some of the people's houses have been totally decimated. Hayne, you've seen a lot of damage, more than anybody, because you've been here the whole time. What have you? Tell us what you've seen.
As far as the damage, or as far as Red Truck and this
Red Truck Men too, but
yeah.
What kind of impact have we had, and what's left to do?
Yeah.
Well, first off, we had no idea that the storm was going to be as big as it became. I'm a captain with the Asheville Fire Department. I was working the night of the storm, and we got a flood projection model, and we had to have a little extra intel, stuff that came in. I remember looking at the model and saying, wow, like Asheville's gonna flood here and here, but I'm from Black Mountain, this is my home. So I immediately went to Black Mountain to look at the projected floods, and I saw them. And I thought, wow, that's gonna be a significant amount of water. We had no idea it was gonna be well over double, even close to triple the amount of water that we got. And the destruction was unbelievable. I can remember when I finally got home, accessed my wife, I couldn't even get home. I live half a mile up a dirt road, and because these little creeks, some of the creeks, no joke, are the width of this Bible, they became the width of a F-150. Creeks that were the width of a recliner became the width of a school bus. And because of how our roads are built, they became riverbeds. Ours was tore apart. I remember when I finally got to my wife and kids, I had to hike in to get them and to get them out. But I remember walking down and looking at Erica and saying, not in my wildest imagination could imagine this much water come barreling through this valley. And it happened because we had a significant rain event, not a storm, but a lot of rain right before Helene hit. And then we had no idea that the eye was going to hit us. The eye was projected to go west. It didn't bump west. It came right over Asheville, Swananoa Valley, which just south of us is Chimney Rock, obliterated. Above us is Burnsville, Pensacola. Just the damage was just unbelievable. So I can say from my experience and what I experienced, I'd never seen anything like it. I was trying to readjust my mind into what was just happening. And even though my job is one where I'm dealing with many disasters all the time, I'd never seen something at this level. And then when I was finally released from work to get some rest, I couldn't rest. It's just not in my DNA to rest. And other guys from Asheville Fire and Charlotte Fire started like, what can we do? So what we knew we could do was make saw teams. A lot of us are U.S. Forest Service sawyers, trained sawyers. So we're digging people, we're cutting people out, we're making holes, but we noticed there was so much destruction beyond what we could ever imagine that we needed excavators. So my connection to Red Truck was, there's a gentleman, he's a retired Charlotte firefighter, Bingham Hefner, who is a part of Red Truck in Mooresville, North Carolina. And Bingham and I know each other for a long time. And we connected, and he's like, what do you need? And I said, we need minis, we need skid steers, we need to get roads accessible. We have people who are, my neighbor, she's a stage 4 cancer patient. She needs her chemo, she can't get out of here. We have a neighbor she's a paraplegic from her waist down. Her minivan's a lowrider. We got to get the roads fixed. Well, then he says, hey, we can bring that, we can make that happen. And he said, and there's a group called the Red Truck Men. Well, but since he's a firefighter, I thought all y'all were just firefighters because of Red Truck. I was like, awesome, here come the brothers, but I didn't realize it was gonna be a different type of brother, which was incredible. And he showed up. We found First Baptist. They said we found a local church. They said we can use your parking lot. And he rolled in with a flatbed, maybe 6 pallets of water, a bunch of diapers, a 4-wheeler, and a black lab. That's what was with him. And we took excavators out to do recon to show them these are the areas that we need immediate repair so that we can get people accessibility to get to healthcare. 2 hours, I go out with these guys. I come back and Bingham's trailer of water has now quadrupled into all this water. The diapers are gone, tons of food. People were just pouring into town, just wanting some place to dump something. And he's the most friendly guy you'd ever meet. And he was like, just give it to me, I'll distribute it. And before we knew it, all of a sudden we turned into Dollar General in a parking lot. Free Dollar General. It was amazing. The excavators, they come in from doing their work, they're gonna sleep on their trailers. Random people from all over are just driving up with their skid steer, just looking for a place to plug in. Where can I plug in? And I didn't know at the time that Red Truck was already organizing 700 guys to mobilize to come up here. So yeah, it was this series of events that felt very divinely inspired that started to come together. And before we knew it, in my mind, what was just gonna be, we're gonna serve some breakfast, turned into a full-on disaster relief. And what you guys have meant to this town, it's just been amazing. I've bumped into so many people and they say, I went down to Red Truck, I needed this, I needed that. Everything from I needed a tree removed, to I needed debris removed, I needed mud, to I needed a jacket, I needed water, I needed food, I needed this, needed that. And it's just been a ton to this community. So thank you guys for what you've done.
Being discipled through Red Truck Men and the Bible studies. We call them, they're really breakfast. They're breakfast over the Word of God. So you've got the discipleship going on, we're learning the Word of God, but then we've got the deployment part of Red Truck Men. And we never had planned that. And God had something else in mind. The Lord said, hey, you guys, you men, I'm going to teach you my Word. I'm going to show you my Word. But then I need you to get to work. Think about it. God gave Adam a garden, a big garden. He said, keep it, work it, manage it. And that's basically what we're doing. Is be a good steward of the garden.
Well,
This
Nichols,
is-
that works today.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been super blessed, but there's a lot of work still to be done, right?
There it
Yeah.
is. I like it.
So what's next?
Houses.